5 people are dead, killed by a co-worker. The shooting here led to chaos throughout this area. Police raced to the scene. Employees were scrambling. Schools nearby were locked down. Now, all of this happened just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. As you mentioned, this was actually the staging area where police were just a few minutes ago, and it just opened back up a little while ago. Now, this shooting again happened just after 2 o'clock in the middle of the day. There were at least 1,400 employees at Molson Coors. There are corporate offices here, brewery facilities. Police have been making sure everything is okay in all of those buildings throughout the evening. Just a few minutes ago, we got an update from officials about the investigation.
Milwaukee Police Department officers located 5 deceased adult victims who were located inside the same building. Each one of the victims worked for Molson Coors. It should be noted that no members of the general public were involved.
Our crew covering that protest came across Democratic State Senator Tim Carpenter, who told them he was attacked by demonstrators for taking photos of the protest.
Next thing you know, I'm getting 5-6 punches kicked in the head.
Shortly after that, he collapsed. Our crew worked to get in touch with Capitol Police, and they stayed with him until paramedics arrived at the entrance of the state capitol. The senator was able to get into the ambulance on his own, but right now, we don't know his condition.
My family was with me, my parents, my brother.
Anmal Kindry surveys what's left of the used car dealership his family has owned since 2013.
It was heartbreaking.
He sees more than just property damage.
Yeah, it's not just a business. We built from the ground up. We started off with 7 cars. We built car by car, like tile by tile.
Car by car, rioters over 2 days torched what the Kindrys built over 7 years.
Kindry says during the first night of rioting, the rioters burnt about half of this lot, causing $1.5 million worth of damage. They came back the second night and burned the rest of the lot, causing an additional $1 million worth of damage, bringing the total cost to $2.5 million. And Kindry says his insurance company won't cover a dime of it.
Amazing grace. Together, in the cold, in mourning. That saved a wretch like me.
It's been very heartbreaking. It's been emotional. It's been a very, very long week.
Communities from across Grant County.
Muscadet, Blue River, and Boscobel. And there are some people from Darlington.
Remembering a 33-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old killed less than a week ago in a tragic fire. Stephanie Dollar was 12-year-old Frederick's former stepmom.
I would never wish this upon my worst enemy. Like, it's the void.
He died Saturday in the fire. 14-year-old Barbara died Monday morning. Dollar FaceTimed her Sunday.
I could not bring myself to say bye. I just kept telling her to keep fighting, that I loved her, and that she was so beautiful. She's just...
I once was lost.
When he came through, he tore all this with him.
Anita Anderson awoke to a sound louder than thunder Sunday morning.
But it sounded like a cannonball went off, a big blast.
It was an apparent intoxicated driver barreling into her backyard and, not unlike a cannonball, smashing her fence to smithereens.
He made his own entrance, he made his own driveway, and this is the reckless cause that he had caused.
26-year-old Thomas D. Widener is facing several charges, including OWI second offense, hit and run to property, and felony fleeing.
Anderson tells me it took the driver several attempts to get out of the backyard once he'd caused all the wreckage. She said once he made it out into the street, he almost hit a Beloit police car. That was when he took off down the road and the high-speed chase began.
Thousands of Wisconsinites have requested absentee ballots this year over concerns of the coronavirus pandemic. Now in November, there's going to be a lot more people voting by mail. So we asked the vice president whether or not he supports additional funding for the United States Postal Service to get them through this election.
Well, let me say, President Trump and I will make certain that the post office has all the resources that it needs. In fact, very recently, the post Postal Department received a $10 billion loan that they haven't drawn down yet. And much of the controversy around funding for the post office lately, to me, is just another Washington manufactured controversy.
George, the damage on this townhouse is boarded up right now. And as you said, this happened after 2 people were shot in that SUV earlier this afternoon. Police say a dark sedan started chasing the SUV on the city's north side before they made their way to this neighborhood. Earlier today, I talked to neighbors who told me they heard 2 gunshots and then saw the victims walking away from the crash. One of those neighbors told me she doesn't know how to avoid gun violence anymore because of how frequently it's been happening.
After a close win over Indiana today, hundreds of fans welcomed the Badgers back to Madison. It was the Badgers' 8th win in a row, and it clinched them at least a share of the Big Ten title.
Feels great. A lot of time was put in. We've been through a lot as a group and as a unit. So to have a moment like this, to celebrate with one another and celebrate each other, it's been a fun day. It'll be a fun night.
The Badgers may have to share the title, though. Maryland and Michigan State can each clinch a share with a win tomorrow.